Good evening. I am Barbara Joan Meyer, Board Chair of the Milwaukee County Historical Society, and I have the pleasure of welcoming you to the broadcast of the 67th Annual Awards event. I'd like to thank our sponsors for making this event possible, the staff, volunteers, my fellow board of directors, our awardees, their special guest, and all of you for tuning in tonight to be part of this special event. While I am sorry that we cannot be together in person this evening, I am thrilled that we can carry out our long-standing tradition of celebrating the people, institutions, and companies that have been instrumental in making Milwaukee such a vibrant community. At the Society, we preserve and share the histories of this community, and tonight we do so by recognizing our awardees and telling their stories. I always enjoy learning about those that we recognize, seeing the historic photos from our collections, and hope you will enjoy this evening's insights into those histories and our time together. To tell you more about the latest happenings at the Society, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our Executive Director, May McCulley, who will have some remarks as we begin our evening. Once again, welcome.
Good evening. I'm May McCulley, and I am fortunate to be the Executive Director at the Milwaukee County Historical Society. Thank you for joining us this evening. I want to especially thank you for joining us in this new format, our first, and perhaps only, virtual annual awards event. While we would typically be at the Pfister celebrating together, I am instead live from our downtown historical center and our beautiful research library. In a year that has shown each of us that life can change as we know it in the blink of an eye, I'm thankful to be here tonight to celebrate Milwaukee, to celebrate those who have made it such a special place, and to take a moment to appreciate all we do have, and a major part of that is our community. While this has been a difficult time for many and quite unusual, there have also been silver linings. These include the ability to gather via technology, to continue on with some special traditions like we are tonight, and even our archivists can find an up. They often have to identify the dates of historic photographs. Eventually, years from now, images from 2020 will be easily identified by the fact that everyone has masks on. During this past year, the Society has accomplished a lot, and we have done so with both in-person activities and programs, and through virtual programs and field trips, as well as socially distanced historic site tours, kayak tours, and bike tours. We have continued to carry out our mission of preserving and sharing Milwaukee's history. We try and share the past in a way that builds understanding of our world today, and stories of the 1918 flu pandemic, our local political history, and women's suffrage have been ways that we have done that this year. Currently, ahead of a national election, we're featuring a special exhibition, Better, Bigger, Brighter, 150 Years of Milwaukee Politics. And just last month, we had a celebratory kickoff for the launch of Viewwalkie. The Society was looking for a way to meet people where they are and to share Milwaukee's past. This program does just that. Street-side viewers, like you see here, are placed in certain locations throughout Milwaukee. When a person uses a viewer, they look inside and see a historic image of the same view they see outside the viewer. A real-time comparison of the past while in the present. With the support of our presenting partner, C.G. Schmidt, who will receive an accolade tonight for their 100 years of service to the community, 10 viewers were placed in this inaugural year in the past month. Go see them. A free and interactive activity open to all who would like to enjoy them. Each viewer also includes a brief history. Then, a complimentary website includes more information, more historic photos from a variety of eras straight from our research library, and curriculum so that teachers and parents can make the experience educational for youth. Make sure to check out these viewers, and more information can be found on viewwalkie.com. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our MC for the evening, who has documented so many stories in our community. Please help me welcome Emmy Award-winning journalist Katrina Cravey.
Mame, thank you so much for the introduction. What an outstanding organization that serves the people of Milwaukee in so many ways. Thanks to all of you who are tuning in and supporting the Society, even if you've already changed into your PJs or you never got out of them today. There are some positives of a virtual event. Another is that you can still show up for the event. Tonight's hashtag is #CelebrateMilwaukee. You can become part of history by posting a picture of yourself tonight, perhaps with your extra long hair, or even a favorite photo of yourself in Milwaukee. We're all together because we know Milwaukee is a special place. Whether you grew up here or you came for a family member or a new job, Milwaukee has that way of just holding on to you. I know. I'm originally from California. I came here in 1994 and I thought that this city would only be a stop along my career path. First day on the job, I get into the car with a photojournalist and he says, "I bet you're here for the rest of your life." I looked at him like, "You're nuts." He said, "Trust me, you're gonna fall in love with this city and the people," and he was so right. I know that you've fallen in love with this city too, and that's what we're here to celebrate tonight. So even though I can't see your smiling faces and your clapping hands in front of me, I feel you. And I have an app for that. We wanted to kick off the evening with some anniversary accolades, and these awards go to the companies, organizations, and institutions who are celebrating major milestone anniversaries this year. This is a time to celebrate their past, the fact that they are with us in the present, and hopes for their long future here in Milwaukee. The 50th anniversary accolades are the first to be awarded this evening, and for each accolade, we found a historic photo from our research library. The Milwaukee County Historical Society has more than 1 million photos and more than 1 million documents in the library, and we're pleased to be able to show you some of them tonight as we celebrate these people and the places that are a major part of why Milwaukee community is so unique. The first accolade of the evening goes to the American Indian Center at UWM. The center's vision is to assist and support UWM American Indian students and to help make our communities stronger. The program provides potential and enrolled students with support services which help them realize their educational goals and make their UWM experience a fulfilling one. Tonight, they accept this award on behalf of the center and all the students that they have served in the past 50 years. The second accolade goes to Broadscope Disability Services, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy of Southeastern Wisconsin. Broadscope sponsors and fosters inclusion, empowers freedom of choice, and advances potential across the lifespan. Today, they serve thousands of people with disabilities and their families. The next accolade goes to the Educational Opportunity Program at Marquette University. The academic department at Marquette assists first-generation college students, underrepresented students, and students whose families meet federally established income guidelines to succeed in higher education. Since their beginning, EOP has helped more than 2,000 first-generation college students and students from low-income families obtain a college education. Coming together is something that we're doing tonight, and that unites a community. The Interfaith Conference of Greater Milwaukee knows this all too well, bringing together regional leaders and supporters of 20 member faiths and denominations. The Interfaith Conference of Greater Milwaukee conducts programming, engages people in dialogue, and builds tolerances, addressing societal changes, and more than a goal of a better society for everyone, with an underlining emphasis to uphold the dignity of every person and the solidarity of the human community. The Interfaith Conference has been unifying Greater Milwaukee for 50 years. The next accolade helps us chill out, literally, and to enjoy some fun with the Milwaukee Admirals. Milwaukee's minor league hockey team is 50 this year. Originally playing at the Milwaukee Arena, now the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, until 1988, their home ice was relocated to the Bradley Center. Now the team, owned by a local group of investors, again is playing at the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. It's important to note that the Admirals won their second regular season championship in 2019-20 season, and of course, they are never short of people to cheer for the team. The crowd is led by their support for the Admirals, of course, by President John Greenberg there, and their beloved mascot, Roscoe. Now, we have really hit a home run with this next anniversary accolade, the Milwaukee Brewers. Originating as an expansion team in 1969 in Seattle, Washington, The Seattle Pilots played for one season in the American League before being acquired by Bud Selig, who then moved the team to Milwaukee for the 1970 season. With Hall of Fame players such as Hank Aaron, Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, to more recent stars such as Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun, and Kristen Yelich, the Brewers have provided many thrills, and they continue to attract people out to the old ball game in Milwaukee tradition. You gotta love tailgating, singing, the sausage races, and so much more. A group of Milwaukeeans were looking for a way to purchase foods that they considered wholesome and whole, and in April of 1970, these people, they pulled together their interest and their money into a cooperative business structure called the East Kane Street Food Co-op. A year later, the volunteer-run co-op moved to Clark Street and was renamed Outpost Natural Foods. Over the years, locations have changed and new ones have opened. Outpost currently employs nearly 500 employees and has more than 23,000 owners. And of course, their award-winning quarterly food magazine, Graze, and they provide education to the community about healthy food choices. The next awardee has been making an impact for 50 years, while the mission of Pathfinders has evolved over the decades. The commitment to addressing the community crises in Milwaukee has not. The Counseling Center of Milwaukee started in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital in 1970 to serve the needs of low-income people living with mental health issues. A shelter for runaway and homeless youth, known as Pathfinders, was formed separately that same year by members of Plymouth Church, UW-Milwaukee faculty, and students and concerned East Side residents. The two organizations merged a few years later and continue to address the changing needs of Milwaukee residents. In the 2000s, the organization rebranded under that Pathfinders name and renewed their commitment to Milwaukee's young people, making the strategic decision to focus exclusively on youth services. Today, Pathfinders is respected nationwide as a leader in serving youth who have experienced homelessness and sex trafficking and young adults experiencing trauma and crisis. The next accolade is the Roberto Hernández Center at UWM. The Latino community in Milwaukee grew steadily during the 20th century, and by 1970 there was a vibrant population of at least 30,000 people. Officials from the UWM School of Education began outreach efforts to the Latino community in the late 1960s to address the low enrollment and the need for support. They established a committee for the education of Latin Americans to develop plans for a Spanish-speaking outreach institute within the school. Now, it became apparent that the Periscope scope was beyond the ability of the School of Education to implement, and so the proposal was brought to the chancellor. Led by Roberto Hernández, people staged sit-ins, they had protests and campouts. Their efforts proved fruitful, and in November of 1970, UWM opened its Spanish-speaking outreach institute, which today is called the Roberto Hernández Center. This is the final 50-year accolade, and we are sure glad to have the United Community Center here in Milwaukee. It began as an outreach program of Milwaukee Christian Center known as The Spot. Located in the heart of Milwaukee's South Side, The Spot was a small center where teens could meet and socialize in a safe environment, participate in educational programs and activities. The program eventually separated from the Milwaukee Christian Center in 1970 as it began to be recognized more as a community service agency rather than a teen center. Its name was changed to the United Community Spot, and then later to the United Community Center. Its mission and service continue to grow. Among other offerings, the organization operates a school and provides services for seniors, including a housing community. Today, this full-service, state-of-the-art organization serves more than 18,000 people per year. So congratulations, you can do this with me at home, to all of the anniversary accolade recipients tonight in the 50-year category. Mame, I hear you have the results of a special Admirals poll that you've done?
That's right, Katrina. A few weeks ago, we asked you in a Facebook poll which Admirals logo is your favorite. We received lots of votes for these Admirals logos, and the winning one was the 1977-1981 logo. Thank you all for your participation in helping us celebrate the Milwaukee Admirals' 50th anniversary.
Milwaukee knows how to vote. That is a great logo. Thanks, babe.
Yes. Katrina, let's send things back to you with our next accolades.
All right, we're going to take a look back now to 1945 for our 75-year anniversary accolades. And first, we have KENCOOKCO Company, which was born when founder and entrepreneur Ken Cook Sr. aimed to fulfill the growing demand for producing, writing, and printing high-quality operation manuals for manufacturers that were selling military equipment to the United States government. The company soon developed a reputation for delivering excellent technical documentation and devoted customer service. Over time, KENCOOKCO Company has served customers in construction, energy, durable manufacturing, lawn and garden, agriculture, marine, and automotive industries. Innovation and cutting-edge technology has been part of their story. It was the first technical publication business that all serviced under one roof and the first Wisconsin company to install a CAD system. Last year, the company occupied a new headquarters building, which we know is just the start of their next 75 years. Our second 75th anniversary accolade is Neighborhood House of Milwaukee. Father Reinhard Huttman established the Episcopal City Mission in 1945 as a safe and nurturing social center for neighborhood children in Milwaukee's West Side. The city mission, which became Neighborhood House in 1950, it grew rapidly. A community center in the settlement house tradition, the organization services individuals at all ages of life and regardless of income. Neighborhood House reaches 4,000 people annually through services such as early child care, after-school programs for youth and teens, adult education for refugees, and parenting support. And now a word from one of our very generous sponsors, the Bentley family.
I am Thomas Bentley III, fifth generation. The Bentleys built hundreds of buildings and operated businesses from coast to coast and in Canada. The key to their success? A strong work ethic, adventure, risk-taking, determination to succeed, and the love of their families.
You can drive to the most prominent parts of the city and you can see the history of this family right here in the history of Milwaukee.
The Groman Museum was actually Tom's last construction project and was also designed by David Eline, a local architect and Milwaukee County Historical Society supporter. We're so lucky to have all of these people in Milwaukee helping us to share history as well as promoting wonderful institutions like the Groman Museum.
Tonight, we not only celebrate milestone anniversaries of important Milwaukee companies and organizations, but we also celebrate people who have contributed to Milwaukee County in wonderful ways. The first of these awards for this evening is the Gambrinus Prize. The prize is given to an author that has been selected for writing the best book-length contribution to Milwaukee. I'd like to ask Kevin Abing, an archivist at the Society and the lead of the Gambrinus Committee, to present this award.
Hello, my name is Kevin Abing, lead archivist at the Milwaukee County Historical Society, and it's my pleasure to announce the recipient of the 2020 Gambrinus Prize. Each year, the Historical Society awards the Gambrinus Prize for the book that most significantly contributes to Milwaukee historiography. Choosing a prize recipient is always a tough task, but the book that clearly stood out to the committee was Matthew Prigge's Damn the Old Tinderbox, Milwaukee's Palace of the West, and the Fire That Defined an Era. Matthew's riveting story of the Newhall House fire of January 1883 details the horrific loss of life, courageous rescue efforts, and disastrous human errors that made this one of the deadliest and most tragic events in Milwaukee history. So please join me in congratulating Matthew Prigge, winner of the 2020 Gambrinus Prize.
Congratulations to Matthew Prigge on what sounds like a very interesting read. We'd like to give another personal award before continuing with our anniversary accolades. The next award is the Dan Emmer Recognition Award. It has been a tradition that this award is given to a person who has made a significant impact on Milwaukee County Historical Society. I'd like to ask Ron Clayton, ex officio board member and longtime friend of the Society and an awardee, to introduce this award.
Good evening, I'm Ron Clayton. I'm an ex officio member of the Milwaukee County Historical Society. I've been involved with the Society for decades. Tonight, I'm privileged to present the Dan Emmer Recognition Award to Richard Hernwicki, a person that my family has known for decades and someone the Society has been fortunate to call a colleague and friend for more than 6 decades. Richard first came to work with the Milwaukee County Historical Society in 1961. That was a very, very, very historic long time ago. Richard was going to Marquette University at the time, where he got a master's in undergrad and master's degrees in history. He went on to become an acclaimed teacher. He taught in Cudahy and at St. Mary's Academy. In 1999, he was actually awarded the State of Wisconsin Teacher of the Year. And he had all sorts of awards for that, but tonight we're going to talk about Richard's connection to the Milwaukee County Historical Society. He's been involved in preserving and sharing Milwaukee history through countless projects and endeavors of the Society. He approaches every project with enthusiasm, determination, and a mission of completing the task with quality and perfection. He is currently involved with a photography collection, which includes digitally reproducing the images, refinishing historic photos, documenting society activities and exhibits, and more. And in addition to everything else, he's a historian of the history of the Milwaukee County Historical Society over those 6 decades. Richard is also an accomplished musician, and he and his wife Jean have played for the Society. In fact, the music that you heard, the accordion music that you heard at the intro of this program was Richard on his accordion. Richard is now 80 years young, and we hope that he has another 60 years to give to the Society, and his self-proclaimed title is Resident Relic of the Milwaukee County Historical Society. So we're thrilled and pleased to present this award to Richard this evening.
Thank you, Richard, for your continued service and the dedication to the Society. You truly are the resident relic, and that's a good thing. We're going to stretch back a century now to the year 1920, and we're going to celebrate our 100-year accolades. The first has welcomed people to stay in Milwaukee for the last century. The Astor Hotel was built by real estate developer Oscar Brockman for Milwaukee hotel tycoon Walter Schrader. Now, designed by architect Herbert Tulgren, the classical revival style, the facade is a gray limestone and has French classical details. Originally known as the Astor on the Lake, the 9-story building housed travelers and permanent residents. Covering a half block in Milwaukee's Easttown district, it was added to the National Registry of Historic Places in 1984. This next accolade is C.G. Schmidt, which Dutch immigrant Charles Schmidt left his job at a brewery in Milwaukee and he founded Charles Schmidt & Sons Construction. He wanted to create a business that would build communities. This evolved into a family-owned business that is now in its 4th generation and responsible for building some of the most iconic structures in Milwaukee, including the Santiago Calatrava designed wing of the Milwaukee Art Museum and the new Northwestern Mutual Tower and Commons. The company has had many firsts. It was the first tower crane. It used the first tower crane in Milwaukee. It poured the first concrete sidewalks in the city, was the first to use hard hats and guardrails, and the first to build the first major hospital. Now this year, they celebrate their first 100 years. This next accolade is the home to Milwaukee County's first golf course. Yes, can you guess? It's on your screen. Grant Park Golf Course. It was designed by George Henson. It's opened in 1920. Now, of note, the Grant Park Golf Clubhouse was built in 1892 as the farm home of the Horace Nathan Fowle family. Now, today it has been both a clubhouse and a historic site, and visitors can view historic photos of its rich past on the walls. With a relatively short course by today's standards, it does not disappoint. Trust me, I've played it. It's got plenty of challenging par 4s and par 3s. Carrie Chapman Catt founded the League of Women Voters of the United States on February 14th of 1920. In August of that same year, the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women the right to vote, was ratified. The League of Women Voters of Wisconsin was founded that same year and was designed to help women from Wisconsin and around the country to carry out their new responsibilities as voters. The League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County was formed in 1989 by merging the Wauwatosa, North Shore, and Milwaukee Leagues. The League has more than 450 members throughout the greater Milwaukee area. Now I'm going to paint a scene for this next accolade. The Layton School of Art was founded in 1920 by Charlotte R. Partridge and Miriam Frank. They established Layton as an accredited institution of higher education with some of the finest faculty in the region. By 1954, they were serving more than 1,000 students. Now, after Layton closed in 1974, the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design was co-founded by 7 Layton faculty members. It is Wisconsin's only 4-year private college of visual art. Offering fine arts degrees in 5 majors, the Institute is a true asset to Milwaukee's higher education offerings. Congratulations to everyone. What amazing pieces of Milwaukee history. And Mame, I know this is going to be bad form, my husband would tell me this, but I'm going to pitch it back to you for a look at some very special photos. Yeah, there you go. Good job.
I have some fun here. The Milwaukee Brewers have given us some memorable moments over the last 50 years. We asked you to send in your own Brewers history, and there are certainly some good pictures. Here are some to look at.
I think we should try to look at ourselves in the backgrounds of some of these.
I'm definitely not in those ones.
Yes, you're a little too young.
I love the little guy. Joe Donald, there you are.
Oh, so cute. Rebecca Clayfish. I see her in the picture to the right. Those are great.
We love the people that help us out on Facebook and remember Milwaukee's history. Thank you for helping us celebrate the Brewers. Now back to the year 1920.
All right, in 1920, as the automobile was rising in popularity, there was a growing need for automotive repair industry. And Joseph Johnson, he had an idea about how to make things work easier for mechanics. He and co-worker William Seidman created 2 sample sets of 5 handles and 10 sockets. Now, using those demos, they sold more than 500 initial orders. The product was coined 5 do the work of 50, and the company was launched. By 1923, Snap-on filed its first patent, a ratcheting attachment for the socket wrenches. By 1925, there were 17 branches and 165 salesmen. The company continued to grow and expand their reach into other industries, and today, it is a thriving Wisconsin company with a global presence. Next, we have St. Charles Youth and Family Services Incorporated. It is a not-for-profit human services agency that is guided by Catholic principles and provides an array of prevention and intervention services. Milwaukee's 4th Archbishop, Sebastian Messmer, and members of the local St. Vincent de Paul Society sought to establish a home for boys who were under the jurisdiction of the juvenile court. Now, St. Charles Boys Home began and was named to honor the president of St. Vincent de Paul Society, Charles Nornchild, and St. Charles Borromeo, a 16th century leader. Now, originally established as a boys' home with over 50 acres of land for young males to work and play, the organization has changed over the years, and with it, their service to the community. St. Charles assists those who serve by developing the skills to become self-reliant and independent with their schools, their families, communities, or vocations. It employs more than 250 people who make a difference in the lives of more than 1,000 youth, adults, and families each year. The next award is the Frederick I. Olson Historic Preservation Award, and each year it is given for significant efforts to protect and preserve historic architecture in Milwaukee. To introduce this year's Olson awardee, I welcome back Mame McCulley.
I am honored to have the opportunity to introduce this next award to you, the Frederick I. Olson Preservation Award. This award honors those that have preserved significant historic architecture or culture in Milwaukee putting our city's history at the forefront of their efforts. Tonight's Olson Award recognizes the visionary work of Scott Sampson and the late Gary Grunow for the preservation and redevelopment of what we know of today as Schlitz Park. The pair, no strangers to large and impactful projects, acquired 46 acres and over 1.5 million square feet of space along the Milwaukee River on the north end of Milwaukee's downtown. Their rehabilitation of Schlitz Park, which is 32 of those acres, became an award-winning project that has spurred more economic development than in any other area in the city of Milwaukee. At its peak, the property that was home to the beer that made Milwaukee famous employed 3,000 people, and today, more than 4,000 people work at the complex on a normal day. We recognize this project now as it was truly completed with its recent sale in February 2019. The owners, Scott and Gary, handpicked the new stewards of this historic property who plan to see it forward as a place of energy in Milwaukee. John Corey, principal of Crestlight Capital, which now owns Schlitz Park, is here tonight to accept this award on behalf of Scott and Gary and to symbolize the continued commitment in preserving this historic complex.
Hey everyone, I'm John Curry with Crestlight Capital. Unique circumstances coming to you from a virtual video versus talking to everyone in person, but obviously everyone's going through unprecedented times right now, so hope everyone's safe and healthy. Just want to thank the board of directors at the Milwaukee Historical Society for acknowledging us for this award that we are very honored to take for Schlitz Park. It really acknowledges decades and decades of work put in by multiple families, and we also want to thank TPG, who's our partner, who's bought the deal with us, and really want to thank the entire city of Milwaukee for being so welcoming to us coming from out of town. I'm from Detroit, and everyone's just accepted us with open arms. My 4-year-old son, Giannis is his favorite basketball player. People ask him all the time why he doesn't root for the Pistons, but that's another story. Regardless, we also wanted, you couldn't take this award without having a huge thank you to both the Grunow and Sampson families. Specifically Gary, God rest his soul, was literally a pioneer, and did so many things for the town of Milwaukee, let alone Schlitz Park, really bringing tenants, west of the river in an area that wasn't nearly as attractive as it is today. And words can't express, how much time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears he put into this. And really the entire Grunow family, John Grunow as well, was really instrumental in saving a lot of the historical artifacts. And then also a big thank you to Scott Sampson and his family. I know Scott's a lot more behind the scenes than Gary liked to be, but he's also a bulldog and fought timelessly and has really been a great mentor to me throughout this entire process, to talk to him pretty frequently and get a lot of advice about Milwaukee and Schlitz Park and best practices. So I want to thank Scott a lot for that. Also, we want to thank the staff at Schlitz Park. They're phenomenal. I'm not going to list every person here, but everyone knows Sam Denny has kind of been spearheading it, but Nick, Eric, Liz, Lauren, Ken, Joe, Susie, and many more have all contributed in leaps and bounds to make Schlitz Park what it is. And really the thing that's so special about Schlitz Park, that it's unlike any other property that we know across the country, is that there's such a nostalgia to Schlitz Park. It was really a place that was instrumental to creating jobs in a place for Milwaukee. And I'm being from Detroit. Detroit's a car town. Milwaukee's really a beer town, and people in Detroit are really, prideful in what type of car you're driving. And people in Milwaukee, it's about what beer you're drinking. And the fact that Schlitz Park was the beer that made Milwaukee famous is really important to people. Like, people have, relatives that used to work there, or, have stories about the park. And it really has a sense of nostalgia. And we want to credit the tenants that moved from, and take the leap of faith to follow Gary and the Sampson families into creating Schlitz Park what it is today. And it's a testament to being a really special place that, there's more people employed there now today than there were back when it was a brewery in the 50s. So That's phenomenal. And we really like to embrace that history. So as new owners, we're now spearheading a new renovation at Schlitz Park. We interviewed a host of different local contractors and architects and settled on 2 local firms that we think are phenomenal. The architect is Rinka, and the contractor is ADK. And they're under construction right now with some of the plans that will be unveiled in the first quarter of next year. We're excited to do that. And there's really 4 things that we wanted to really focus on in the renovation. And those were the themes we kind of carried it throughout. The first was respecting the history of the site. The second was adding more connectivity. The third was wayfinding. And then the fourth was enhancing food and beverage. And we interviewed all of our tenants when we purchased the property and asked kind of what they wanted to see and what were the things that were most important to them. And those were kind of the 4 main themes that came out. And, the respecting the history is, again, a tribute to John Grunow saving all the historical artifacts at Schlitz when it was a brewery. We're bringing out even more of those things and celebrating those more. We're also going to have a competition on the mural on the Powerhouse wall that's underway right now with Milwaukee downtown. And looking forward to hopefully selecting an artist to recreate and reimagine that wall while respecting the history of what Schlitz was in the past. And then on the connectivity standpoint, right now, a lot of people look at the buildings and they view them as individual buildings. They don't look at it as a collective 32-acre campus. And what we're really trying to do is bring those together with a common walkway in the middle of River Center and Bottle House. And pathways connecting to the Stockhouse and the rest of the campus. So we're excited about that. And then on the wayfinding side, we're really enhancing the signage so people don't get lost when you're walking around and you kind of know where you're going. And then we're partnering with F Street to enhance food and beverage throughout the entire campus. And while a lot of people aren't back in the office yet, I'm clearly not back in the office yet, but we anticipate hopefully that comes forward sometime soon. And when that does, we really look forward to having you guys at Schlitz Park and seeing kind of the new changes. But again, wanted to thank the Milwaukee Historical Society. It's a great award that we're honored to have, and there's decades and decades of time and energy that's gone into this by many families and many people that have done a tremendous job, and we're just honored to be stewards of what they've created. So thank you, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Thanks, John. Now, Milwaukee certainly is a better place thanks to Schlitz Park. And now a word from the Milwaukee Admirals, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Now we're going to travel back to 1895 for our 125-year anniversary accolades. The first is the National Council of Jewish Women Milwaukee, which was founded to advocate nationally to improve the quality of life for women, children, and families, and ensure individual rights and freedoms for all. For the last 125 years, the council has been the gateway for women in Milwaukee's Jewish community to live their values through advocacy and service. Now, among the council's programming and educational opportunities are its human trafficking initiative and the HIPPY program, home instruction for parents of preschool youngsters. This next accolade is special for the society as we have a long relationship with them. The National Society of the Colonial Dames of America in the state of Wisconsin celebrates 125 years of service. Together, we steward the Kilbourne Townhouse, the oldest remaining home in Milwaukee. This in line with the Dames' founding vision, now preserving the history of our nation. They promote our national heritage through historic preservation, patriotic service, and educational projects. The Wisconsin Society owns and operates the historic Indian Agency House and its 233 acres of land in Portage, Wisconsin. Its active group of members continue to carry out the national and local mission of the Colonial Dames. Speaking of preserving history, the Pabst Theater does that in so many ways. The fourth oldest active theater in the United States and the oldest in Milwaukee. The Pabst was built in 1895 by Captain Frederick Pabst after the Nunemacher Opera House that was in the same location had burned down. Designed by Otto Strack in the tradition of the great European opera houses, it took just 11 months to build and it cost $300,000. Innovative for its time though, it was the first to use all-electric lighting system in the United States. It featured an electric organ. It had one of the earliest air conditioning systems too. Now, due to the tragic demise of the Opera House before it, the theater was built with fireproofing in mind and featured innovations for safety too. The Pabst Theater, a National Historic Landmark, was most recently restored after Michael Cudahy purchased the building. Now, through all the years, it has remained a place of entertainment for people to enjoy. Today, it remains locally owned and features music, theater, and more, and can host almost 1,300 people at a single performance. Our final 125th accolade goes to PyraMax Bank, founded on August 10th of 1895 under the name South Milwaukee Savings Bank. Its original logo was a pyramid, chosen as a symbol of strength, stability, and age. Now, the bank merged with Mitchell Savings Bank in May of 2000 to become PyraMax Bank. The name emerged from the combination of wanting to retain that pyramid-shaped logo, hence Pyra, while ensuring that clients get the same maximized service, hence Max, that they are known for over a century. The bank continues to serve Milwaukeeans with a mission of being creative and responsive, helping families, businesses, and communities thrive. We would like to give a special thanks to the Cudahy Foundation for their support, and let's hear a word from them.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Jennifer Bartolotta and a proud member of the Pabst Theater Foundation Board. On behalf of the Foundation, the Board, and all members of PTG Live Event staff, we would like to thank the Milwaukee County Historical Society for the dedication of its mission to preserving the historical legacy of our fine city. As a presenting sponsor, I wanted to take a moment and highlight that this is the 125th anniversary of the Pabst Theater. Built in 1895, it remains one of the most active open theaters in the United States of America. In 2002, local philanthropist and businessman Michael Cudahy purchased the financially beleaguered institution from the city of Milwaukee. He shepherded its revitalization and partnered with the dynamic duo that is Gary Witt and Matt Berenger. Through his vision and their passionate and creative efforts, they transformed the sleepy historical site into the dynamic and vibrant venue that we've all come to love. As an organization, we trust that the theater will continue to serve Milwaukee and the surrounding area for generations to come, and we would like to thank the Milwaukee County Historical Society for this very prestigious recognition. We'd also like to take this moment to thank the community and offer our heartfelt gratitude for your continued support and patronage. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Before we recognize the remaining accolades, we are going to present the Courtland R. Conlee Community Service Award, which celebrates individuals who through their service make major contributions to Milwaukee and its history over a career or a lifetime. To introduce the awardee, we're going to hear from Doris Heiser, a Milwaukee County Historical Society board member. Doris?
What a terrific pleasure it is for me to introduce Kathy and Mario Costatini tonight as winners of the Courtland R. Conlee Award for Community Service. This award every year goes to very special volunteers and community leaders who have truly made a difference in Milwaukee. I am sure some of you know about the Costatinis and the amazing volunteer work they have done for our Milwaukee community over the last 40+ years. But because they never seek the limelight, there are probably many of you who do not know about the huge impact they have had. Together, Kathy and Mario have been extremely instrumental to the growth and success of the Holton Youth Center, the Milwaukee Youth Arts Center, First Stage Theater, Dance Works, and the Florentine Opera. Let me give you just one example of Kathy and Mario's impact. A key Milwaukee program that the nonprofit Dance Works started about 15 years ago is called Mad Hot Ballroom. Mario suggested to Deborah Ferris, the dynamic executive director of Dance Works, in 2002 that she see the movie Mad Hot Ballroom. And if she liked it, maybe Dance Works could bring this program to Milwaukee, and he and Kathy would help make it happen. This is a movie about inner city kids in New York City who learn ballroom dancing, and as a result, they develop poise, self-confidence, and then greatly improve their academic performance. Deb loved the movie, as Mario had, because it shows how dancing can help transform the lives of inner city kids. With Mario and Kathy's dedication and ongoing support, there have been 30,000 kids throughout Milwaukee, primarily MPS students, who have participated in the Mad Hot Ballroom program. These kids have had a chance to learn a new skill, develop self-confidence, and then perform with diverse partners in an amazing dance competition at the Bradley Center each year. Kids uniformly announce after performing for a large crowd that it was the best day of their lives. This is just one example of many, many examples that I could give you about how Kathy and Mario have put their hearts and souls into Milwaukee and have made such a significant and lasting difference. Without a doubt, Milwaukee is a better, more vibrant community today because of the Costantini's. Kathy and Mario, congratulations.
Well, good evening. Mario and I would like to thank Doris Heiser and Mae McCulley and all of the members of the Milwaukee County Board of Directors for thinking us deserving of receiving this beautiful award. And we also extend our heartfelt congratulations to all of the other honorees tonight. We're very thankful for this award, and we're also very thankful to the city of Milwaukee, which has given us so much over the past years of our life. Milwaukee gave us our education. We received our degrees at Marquette University, where we met. We raised our families in Milwaukee. We've lived in the same house on the east side of Milwaukee for the last 35 years. We built our business in Milwaukee, in River West neighborhood. So we're thankful to Milwaukee. We also think about the other things that are important in our lives. We're talking about our business. A long time ago, when we were just 23 years old, we thought it would be a good idea to start a business in Milwaukee. And we had no money, we had no experience, we had no training in the idea that we had to do for our business, but we did know a few things. We knew we wanted to work together, we wanted to have fun in our business, we wanted to make a little bit of money, and most importantly, we knew we wanted our business to be a force for good.
So, to be a force for good, we decided before eco-friendly was coined that we'd wanted to manufacture a line of furniture that was uber eco-friendly, and so we designed a line called the Loon Collection, which is made with only invasive species that we get from the northern part of Wisconsin. We sell the line nationally through the interior design industry. And in 1986, against everybody's advice, we decided to buy a factory in the central city in a tough neighborhood. It's now known as River West, but at that time it was a very challenged neighborhood, and everybody told us this was a terrible idea, but we decided to do this anyway. So we restored the factory, we helped to restore the neighborhood, we opened up a youth center, we got rid of the gangs that were here, and then we convinced others to come to River West. Also before the Black Lives Matter term was coined, we decided that there were many great causes in Milwaukee, but we were concerned about the central city, and especially as it related to kids. So we thought that's where we could do the most good. So we opened up youth centers. We, over the last 40 years, have been involved in many agencies, many organizations that are involved with Central City kids.
Education.
And education. We co-founded the Holton Youth Center. We helped First Stage and Dance Works and the Florentine Opera and Milwaukee Youth Arts Center and other organizations. We didn't have millions of dollars to help, but we had our knowledge of business, our entrepreneurship, spirit and knowledge, and that's what we were able to provide is to help. I mention this not because we want to brag about it, maybe just brag a little bit, but because you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be brilliant, you don't have to be good looking to help to make a difference in somebody's life. All you have to do is care. And Milwaukee is a city that is in a very difficult situation currently. I think it'll be very challenging for the next 5 or 10 years, and we need your help. We need everybody's help if we ever hope to restore our city. So thank you, Kathy, for being such a great partner.
Thank you, Mario.
and thank you again for this award. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Aw, thank you, Mario and Kathy, for those inspiring words and all that you do for Milwaukee.
The Pabst Theater has given us a great 125 years. We asked you to submit photos from some of your favorite memories at the Pabst Theater. Let's take a look at some of those photos. Look at that, Katrina.
I know, I love the Pabst. I was thinking back to all the shows that I've seen there. I know I've seen a bluegrass band, like a whole country mix. It's just awesome. And I just saw, Jim Gaffica, the comedian, plays the Pabst, I think, every New Year's Eve. Oh, and there, the Christmas Carol. That's awesome. He was just on a national broadcast wearing the Pabst t-shirt. I was like, all right, go local.
Yeah, shop local, support local. A lot of history at the Pabst Theater and some great photos. Thank you for all of those who submitted. Katrina, we're in the final portion of our program tonight.
All right, so we just have a couple more accolades to award for the celebrations of anniversaries as they come to an end. Now we're going to look back to 1870 with one 150th anniversary accolade. And that accolade goes to Juneau Park, part of the Milwaukee County Park System. Juneau Park's 14 acres of green space offer endless activities for visitors, and it features a tribute to the city's first mayor, Solomon Juneau. Now, on a bluff overlooking Lake Michigan, the Juneau Monument, designed by Richard Park, was built in 1887. A replica of Juneau's cabin lies on the north side of the park. Also, within the park is an 1887 statue that is the replica of a statue in Boston of Leif Erikson. With beautiful views of our Great Lake and marking an edge of Milwaukee's downtown, this is a special place to walk or gather, and you can wear your mask. To round out our anniversary accolades, we recognize those receiving awards for 175 years of service to Milwaukee. The year is 1845. The first of the two 175th accolades is a cool part of our history. The Milwaukee Curling Club is the longest continually operating curling club in the United States. Settlers began curling on the frozen Milwaukee River in the early 1840s. Can you imagine? Then in 1845, the club was officially founded by a group of Scots immigrants, including Alexander Mitchell. The club has been called places home in Milwaukee, a couple of them, including a 44-year stretch at the Riverside Park. Now, as of 2012, the club moved to a state-of-the-art facility in Cedarburg and continues to serve Milwaukee area residents. Let's round out the accolades with St. Francis de Sales Seminary. The seminary was founded in 1845 and the home of Archbishop John Henney. 2 years after the Archdiocese was established in Milwaukee, it is one of the original Roman Catholic seminaries in the U.S. and the oldest in continuous existence. It was founded to meet the demand for German-speaking priests in the Wisconsin Territory. Seminary has grown over time, and the church land accounts for a significant portion of the city of St. Francis. 175 years of Milwaukee County history. Now, that is incredible, Mame. 175 years.
Yes,
The Milwaukee Brewers, they're celebrating a milestone this year too.
They're celebrating half a century here after making the move to Milwaukee, and we want to celebrate that with a little trivia. I hope everybody plays along.
All right, in our minds, here we go.
Okay, the Brewers are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the franchise's move to Milwaukee. Who is the franchise's only player to hit 50 home runs in a season? Is it A, Richie Sexson, B, Gorman Thomas, C, Prince Fielder, or D, Ben Ogilvy?
All right, I got to guess. Can I guess?
Please
I know
do.
everybody's guessing at home. I'm going with Prince Fielder. And I want to say it's in the 2011 season, but I don't know if I'm right. So in the comments, if you're watching, tell me if I'm wrong. Am I right?
C was for correct answer. Yes, Prince Fielder.
Okay.
Are you ready for one more?
Sure, give me
All
one
right,
more.
here we go. In the last 50 years, 23 different players have worn jersey number 50. Imagine that, 50th anniversary, for the Brewers. Who was the first? A, Pete Vukovich, B, Bill Parsons, C, Mike Felder, or D, Jim Bouton?
Oh, I'm going to have to bow out. If you're on Facebook, YouTube right now, put in your comments because I've got no idea.
Okay, the answer is A, Pete Vukovich.
All right. See?
All right, back to you, Katrina, for our final award.
All right, Mame, thanks. Our final award tonight is the Witness to History Award, a long-standing tradition. It honors someone who's had a major role in shaping Milwaukee and its history over a career or lifetime. And this year's awardee has done that in so many ways. Please join us as we learn more about the remarkable contributions of Eckhart Grohman.
In June 1936, Eckhart G. Grohman was born in a family business of quarrying. His grandfather ran a marble quarry. And so he was used to seeing workmen and artists come in and out of the quarry on a daily basis. He had a little set of quarrying tools that the workmen had made for him. But at that time, it kind of instilled in him a great respect for work and the working man and the working woman and what they did to accomplish all those things they did for the greater good. Unfortunately, in 1945, the Grohmans, as a group, were exiled and they were refugees to Berlin. At that time, it kind of lent to resolve once he was, saw the occupation, he saw the Berlin Wall, he saw all the things that were happening around him as a youth. He resolved that when he was completing university that he was going to do his best to immigrate to America, to start a different life. So as he tells it, on July 4th, 1962,
I went on the ship in Bremerhaven with my little Beetle and took it off on the 4th of July, 1962 in New York.
He exits the boat in New York Harbor, and at that time, he answered an ad in the Wall Street Journal for executive trainees for the Dual Company in Des Plaines, Illinois. He lands the position, and so he then relocates to Des Plaines, Illinois, starts working for the company. They worked in machine tooling. He learned the industry top to bottom, and he was put on a very special project at the time. They were creating an exhibit on tool use, from like the dawn of time and primitive tool use all through the modern era into the 20th century. And they were doing this exhibition for the 1964 World's Fair in New York. And Eckhart was placed on this project. And at that time, he befriended a gentleman on the south side of Milwaukee who ran an aluminum foundry. And this gentleman had no next of kin that were interested in assuming the foundry business. And so Dr. Grohman, being the shrewd young businessman that he was, negotiated an agreement with the gentleman that he would purchase the foundry effectively on land contract. And he did so in 1965. He paid the foundry off in 3 years. That gave him the wherewithal to collect his first pieces of artwork. And as he tells it, if you can have a hobby that other people enjoy and that you could share with everybody, it's the best thing in the world. So if we were to fast forward some 3+ decades, he found himself with a collection of over 400 pieces and without the proper facilities to care for them and display them. He had a long-standing relationship with the Milwaukee School of Engineering, and he was great friends with our fourth president, Dr. Herman Vietz. Dr. Grohman made the gift of the collection of some 450 pieces at the time, with the idea that they would together open the museum. We renovated in 2006 and officially opened the Grohman Museum at Milwaukee School of Engineering in October 2007. We now have 3 times that. We're nearing 1,500 pieces in the permanent collection.
I tell you, I'm a lucky guy. To be able to do something like that gives you a tremendous feeling of accomplishment. Forget the money. It's just that you contribute something. And I always said, You have to give your money with the warm hands. When they're cold, you have no fun.
I like to think that we're also providing for future history makers. And that's, I think, what the MSOE students are capable of when they're leaving here, is they're going to go and make history of their own. And I think Dr. Groman feels very strongly about that, too, and that if he did a little bit to support that and make that possible, very, very important to him, because that's really what he enjoys most, is to see the impact and the results of his support, not just of the university and the museum, but of Milwaukee. Thank you, Eckhart, for all that you did, not just for the university, not just for Milwaukee, but also for me personally. If I can guarantee nothing else about the Groman Museum and working at MSOE, it's that you won't dread getting up on Monday morning. It's a place where you want to go, you want to make an impact, and you see that impact that Dr. Groman was so interested in. You know, if we can touch the lives of these students and make an impact on their daily life and on their studies and on their scholarship, I mean, that's wonderful. Please join me in welcoming our 2020 Witness to History Award recipient, Dr. Eckhart Groman.
Well, this was a big surprise because I have never attended the Witness to History Award, and to be one considered to receive the annual Witness to History Award from the Milwaukee County Historical Society is, of course, it's a great honor to me. It's, I'd say, with humility, I appreciate it. I was the guy, really, who had a lot of satisfaction about my association with the MSOE and that museum. Especially now, the museum, in addition to the SOE, has a name that's actually worldwide known. So here's the award, and I appreciate it, and I have a good place for it.
On behalf of the entire MSOE community, our faculty, our staff, our students, and our regents, I want to congratulate you on winning this award, the Witness to History Award from the Milwaukee County Historical Society. You have done so much for preserving the history of this community and educating people about the many advances that have come from here, advances that have made our world a better place. And of course, what you have done for MSOE goes without saying. I've said many times that MSOE has no better friend than Eckhart Groman. And this museum that we're sitting in is just one of the many examples of all that you have done for us. You have made us a better university. I look forward to being able to meet with you and congratulate you and celebrate in person. But until then, stay safe, all the very best, and again, congratulations.
Wow. We have celebrated so many impactful and special individuals, organizations, and companies this evening, and you are a part of Milwaukee and its story, and you can make an impact too. There are so many ways to be involved with the society. Beyond marking your calendars to return next year, take the opportunity to stop in at our events, our programs, or exhibits throughout the year. Even better, you can become a member to show your support or donate today. You can do either or both at milwaukeehistory.net. A gift ensures that the society can continue their mission of preserving the past. And of course, heading into the future, Mame, because I can't even imagine what a donation would mean to the society.
You know, people of all donations, people make this place happen and help us to preserve history. So whether it's a financial donation or one of historic photos or items that are artifacts for our collection, this is the place for people to leave their history and support their history. So all types of donations are very important to this organization.
And where you are right now in the research library, which I didn't know this, becoming a member, you get access to that?
Yes, to 1 million documents, over 1 million photographs. You can come in anytime and research. We have 2 wonderful archivists that help you to find your history or find what you're looking for. Maybe it's a point of interest, something your family history includes. So yeah, come in anytime, and with a membership, it's included, or it's just a $7 fee for the whole day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Check up on your family. Check up on your history. Thank you, Mame.
Yes.
On behalf of the Society, we'd like to thank you for virtually attending and for being part of this celebration. A special thank you to our sponsors and the event committee for making this possible tonight. We'd love to see you at the Society soon, but until then, may you be healthy and happy and continue to embrace all the wonderful places and people of Milwaukee. Good night, and God bless.